Betsy, and I live in Olympia, and I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, I'm a musician. I like to be creative, I like to collaborate. I'm involved with a lot of community projects here in Olympia. I'm a gardener. I'm a songwriter. Also work on ranked choice voting, which I think is probably why we're having this conversation to some degree, which is just a better way. It's a way forward for democracy and voting, and I'm really excited about it.
I do have to admit that you are being filmed because you have a background in ranked choice voting, and I think ranked choice voting is one of the pieces we need to move forward as this country. Before, let's set a baseline here though.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's going to be the scale 1 to 10, and we're going to talk about, this is relating to political polarization.
Sure.
Now 10 represents everything is fine, there are no problems, and people argue sometimes, and that's how you get solutions. 1 is, we are so politically divided now that we will never be able to come together. And what the strategy there is that one side of the equation defeats the other and extinguishes it.
You break
That's
down.
a 1.
Right.
So where do you stand on this?
I would say that we're probably at a 4. I mean, we're past a middle point right now. I don't think we're at a 1. And actually, sometimes I think when things are so messy as they are right now, and we're so divided, that's actually a signal of a turning point. There's a lot of conflict. There's more people talking and voicing their just unhappiness with the situation right now in the country. And they're awake. And some people will say, I don't like this right now, we're falling apart and I'm checking out. But you can't avoid our dysfunction right now. So to me, when things start to get messy in that way, that actually to me is signals we're working on this. Work is messy, right? We're really in the chaotic. I mean, I kind of I'll associate it with just very practical life situation. Me cleaning. You know, if I'm cleaning and organizing something, it's usually there's chaos before the order comes to the room. So I'm going to say that our democracy is in a little prepubescent state right now. And we're trying to push past puberty, and there's like, what's this here? And what's happening here? And we're kind of, we're just in a little chaotic state, and we're going to push past it. And so I'm hopeful. We're at about a 4.
What would be something that would change that to a 4.5?
Well, I mean, I don't know what that will be. That will come. I will know that when I'm sticking to my 4. It's because it is still causing people to just back out and not participate. And that probably, as a person who's working on this and trying to bring people in and like, let's discuss, let's try to have some civility in our conversations. So I'm frustrated. I'm not always feeling, that is a pretty hopeful, but I get really frustrated too, because I want people to participate. So we can't be a 4.5 until there's more actual participation. It's easy to just check out. It's easy to decide to not.
Well, life is busy and challenging.
Yes.
There's plenty of challenge in life, but we're at a point here, this is something I ask everybody, and people often paint this with a different brush than you would expect sometimes. Do you think that it's time for campaign finance reform?
Well, probably, yeah. That's not my area of expertise, but certainly the little that I know and understand about it's not helpful to us. I mean, this is actually, I love about ranked choice voting is that you could actually campaigns could be shorter. Campaigns could be, you could get rid of primaries. You know, you could just go straight to a general election. I mean, imagine if our presidential primary was one day for the nation, holiday, everybody votes, so you don't have all this, New Hampshire, Iowa, like, none of that. It's a holiday, everybody gets to vote. It may be in a primary, right? It's a presidential, but it's a day. It's like a national holiday, right? And then way less of this buildup. So, I grew up in New Hampshire, so, even back in the 80s and 70s when I was growing up, it started pretty early. But now, think about it. There's like only a year. There's only a year that we're not, and it's still political anyways, and the campaigning is still happening in those places. If we had one national, all that time that would be saved, and that just naturally actually makes the money, right, that influence, with some also regulation probably too, it would just be less necessary because there would be probably 3 years of actual presidential people and their cabinet doing the work that we asked them to do. I mean, why not make it a 6-year term too and just give them one? I mean, that would be even better. But yes, I mean, there has to be refinancing. The other interesting thing with ranked choice voting, that if you did get rid of primaries or things like that, you save candidates money. So it opens up the field to people who don't have backing, who are not the popular candidate, maybe they're not of the two parties that we have, right? And they can still be part of it and not have a ton of money backing them and actually maybe have a chance.
I would be remiss. Betsy is well versed in the workings of ranked choice voting, and I was wondering if you could just give us the Fisher Price version.
My 30-second.
Yeah.
So ranked choice voting, different way of voting than most of us have now, where you, rather than choose one candidate, you rank your candidates. Meaning you could still choose one if you wanted, but so you rank your candidates. If no candidate gets 50% plus one, the majority, then the bottom candidate is removed and those votes are redistributed. So kind of like instant runoff voting. I've already been talking about some of the benefits, but the benefits are it opens up the field, it can be less expensive. They find too that there's less negative campaigning because candidates may have some things that they share in common. They also don't want to knock down another candidate because that if I go up to your door and you have a sign for so-and-so who's running against me, I'm probably not going to tear down that candidate. I'm probably just going to speak to that candidate's qualities and then also tell you about myself so I can maybe be your second choice. And maybe you'll even put my sign up next to the other sign of the other person because you can actually do that.
Is it fair to say that ranked choice voting favors the middle over the extremes?
Probably. I mean, I hear a lot of people say that you get the candidate that the most people can live with.
Yeah, it seems structurally just about what you're talking about, how you would talk about other candidates. To be a number two, that you can't be the junkyard dog attacking everybody.
Right. Yes, and I mean, that's why the parties use it too. Like Virginia Republicans use that to select their candidate that they put out there, and then they actually had Republicans and Democrats voting for the person who eventually won. I think it is. And then, if it's used with proportional representation, then and multi-member districts, then you're getting even probably more voice within.
Do you think there's any reason to move that to a 5 from a 4? Is there what kind of event would make you feel happy enough and
I guess why it's not a 5 is just because I feel like I'm in a bit of a marathon with this. I'd like to see things be moving faster. So yeah, if I start to see more and more progress with implementation of really anything than what we have right now. I mean, people can bring up concerns with ranked choice voting, any type of voting. There's going to be problems and people are going to game it. But like, I'd like to see. It just feels, having been in it, and I guess I'm talking Washington State right now. We've just been at it a long time, and they have so many people saying, yes, we want this. But truthfully, the two parties don't want it, and they're very well organized, and they like it the way it is. And so I just see that roadblock of the parties accepting it for everybody. They're willing to use it for themselves, but they're pretty strong machine to go up against. So that's probably why I just feel like it's going to take a lot of work. Change is so hard. Change is so hard.
The culture is always shifting. Sometimes it takes leaps, and sometimes it just takes little nudges as it goes along. We're in a place that is, for lack of a better word, it's not very enviable to be where we're at. What are some things that you could think of that we as individuals might do so we could reach across the divide and talk to people to bring us together? I mean, you have an expertise in an area that does bring people together in music. And I think there's some opportunities that we need to be more creative and be more guided in the way that we manage things, but I don't know what they are.
Yeah, well, I don't think for myself, debating or doing things on social media, or I think, especially when you are coming into communication with people who think really differently than you, being with people in the room face to face and having a conversation, to me, is so much better and easier to do. I see things spiral out of control, on blogs and Reddits, all the many ways that people seem to be trying to process through this. So person to person, face to face, to me is best. I mean, that's why I love doing the tabling or going out and doing outreach stuff in casual. Festivals and things like that, where people are there to have some enjoyment and to be part of community. That, to me, is the best way to try to break down some of the angst and some of the conflict that seems to go. And truly, I was talking to someone just the other day about, we did an event and for ranked choice voting, and we had a person, we don't get this as much anymore, at least not right here in Thurston County, but someone got upset because they were at this festival, and they said, well, I just don't think that my candidates will ever be supported by this. This seems like, I won't even say which party, it seems like this party is fans of ranked choice voting, and it doesn't matter which party that was. I said, oh, actually, that's, not the case here. I started to try to give some examples, and she laughed and said, I don't want to talk politics here. And the person I was talking to about this and kind of processing it said, well, sometimes people just need to be heard, right? And it's true. I have to remind myself of this too. I needed to, rather than try to fix it, she needed to say all that she needed to say about it. And then I sometimes, rather than try to, well, here's my knowledge about let me prove you wrong on this, just ask questions. Tell me more about that. Oh, I'm hearing you say, can I tell you an experience I had? Or, you know, like it's just such a delicate dance right now. And so when you are in the room with someone that you're disagreeing with, you can, you know, kind of take a moment, think about how am I going to do this, that this conversation can continue. And it's a challenge.
Well, you know, people are many different things in themselves.
Yeah.
There's the emotional you.
Yeah.
There is the serial-minded frontal cortex you.
Yeah.
And they often don't work together. In fact,
Right.
they don't work well together.
No. And I think it's actually valuable to sometimes say, sounds like we disagree on this. Like, and like,
that's okay.
but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, and just say it. Like, we disagree on this. That's cool.
Yeah, and the thing is that if you could not make it like you're attacking them, sometimes you could trigger some sort of cognitive dissonance where people have a question in their mind, and it's people like myself.
Or laughter.
Huh?
Or laughter.
Oh, laughter.
You know,
laughter.
like trying to bring some humor to it. Sounds like we disagree.
Yeah. Well, you know, I know that Betsy's a busy person, and we're gonna turn her loose this time. But you know, there's the possibility that we may mine her brain again to see what she comes up with. That was easy for me. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.